A lot of times we're all reacting to life. We're not actually living it. Um, Something that I've discovered, because life is a journey of new discoveries. And once you start realizing that and going, moving and getting this momentum and realizing we all have this equation that we're trying to figure out.
With that said, roll the intro.
Welcome to the home of Project Dream Mastery. Here at PDM, we are challenging the status quo of what it means to follow your dreams and how to unlock the power those dreams will bring to your life. The show experience will be unscripted, authentic, and transparent. So now, sit back, relax, and get inspired with your hosts, Lucas Johnson and Patryk Labuzek.
Welcome to the 16th episode of the Project Dream Mastery Show, where we help inspire you to follow your dreams, defy expectations, dream big, and love deeply. My name is Lucas Johnson, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to be the first to receive new episode releases. And if you're interested, this episode is available with video, so check out our website at projectdreammastery.com to watch now. Today, I have someone really special joining me on the show by the name of Cory Johnson. He's not only my brother, my family, or role model, but a very unique individual with many years of experience dealing with problems that most of us don't face on a daily basis. So Cory, besides for me asking you one-off, why did you want to come onto the show today? And what is this whole state of flow concept we talk about all the time about?
Well, Lucas, thank you for having me. And to Project Dream Mastery followers, hello. Thank you for having me as well. I'm thrilled to be here. Lucas he started something that was just a big idea and has shown that actions speak a lot louder than words. And I'm proud of you, bud. You're really killing it, bro. And I'm ready to kick it off today. I got a lot of good stuff I'd like to discuss with you. Of course, welcome to another fantastic Sunday. I'm coming to you live from Arlington, Virginia. The weather is not bright and shiny, but hopefully our futures are. So get your sunglasses on. Let's rock. Let's talk about how bright our futures are and how great life is. You know, a lot of times we're all reacting to life. We're not actually living it. Something that I've discovered, because life is a journey of new discoveries. And once you start realizing that and going, moving and getting this momentum and realizing we all have this equation that we're trying to figure out. And to tap your full potential, you gotta have an open mind. You have to really just find out who you really are. And I've discovered some of that about myself, and I'd like to share with you today some things that have really helped me along my journey to new discoveries. One therapy that I do is is very therapeutic to myself. As a kid, I've always really enjoyed writing, and I feel like writing letters and putting those thoughts on paper is one way to really get it out. Maybe if you're writing a letter to someone, whatever's on your mind, never talk in an emotional state. I've learned that. But afterwards, you look at these letters and you can find some breakthrough stuff. This most recent letter that I wrote, I'm not going to get into great detail on who it's to or what it's really for, but you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can looking back. So looking back on this letter here, one thing I said is you deserve the most in life, to live it to the fullest. And another thing, key highlight, is forgive so that you can move on. Love and pain can be confusing. So I've taken great effort and stride to use conscious effort to remove negative from my mind. And because that's what we attract.
In 2020, we are facing COVID-19, as you're familiar with, especially living in Arlington. What exactly has been your process for eliminating those negative thoughts, those negative people in your life, but most importantly, keeping that positive outlook that keeps you so eager and keen to progress forward on your daily basis, your daily routine?
So it's all about how we look at success. Okay, so I have something on my blackboard I wrote up here to you, Lucas. It's just, some things that have been on my mind, sir. Is success? Is success about learning or proving that you're smart? What does that mean to you, Lucas?
We actually had an entire episode about defining success, which is really great. If you're listening right now, go back, check that episode. We'll link in the show notes. But to me, Cory, success is how we define it ourselves. Everyone's got these expectations on us. And one thing in Project Dream Mastery we focus on is expectations, because everything we do, someone else has it. I mean, mom and dad, they have expectations on us. Older brothers.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Doug, Cory, or Doug, you, and Tanner all have expectations on me of what I should be, who I should be. And the thing about success is, and I think our discussions that we have had, I'm trying to eliminate, I know the discussions that we have had are critical to defining who we want to be and where we see our state in the future, our future state, target state, and so forth. So I guess for me, Cory, it's really important to find where I'm ultimately happy, where that happiness lays, and strive for that instead of looking and thinking about this expectation someone else has on me, just saying, F those, move to the future.
I'm actually, Lucas, I'm really pleased to hear that and to transition into that. Really, what have I been doing during this time of COVID and a lot of negative influence around you? What I've done is I've surrounded myself with high performance people, and I've gotten that momentum. And that momentum has really, really helped me. And part of that momentum came from routine and looking at life through a larger scope of activity and not really letting things bother me too much, because I'll just come out and say it. I'm not perfect. There's no one out there that's perfect. And I found that the second I stopped and I put blinds on what other people thought of me. And I follow that whole David Goggins thing. I've really been a big supporter of him. And to really come out and say that I'm not ashamed of what life has made me. That's why I joined you today. And Lucas, I'm here today to tell the world that I'm not ashamed of what life has made me. And part of that success has come from you. And you've always supported me. Family is very important. But let's talk a little bit about, okay, well, who's in that circle of yours? Okay. So my circle, I've made it very, very, very small. Tony Robbins, he says, what we practice for years in private is what we thrive in public. So that's what I'm doing right now. You can't help others if you don't love yourself. You got to love life. You got to love fate. You got to love destiny. And ultimately, destiny is really what you put into this universe. It's kind of the story you tell yourself, right? So self-discipline's important. I've learned that, Lucas. I've learned that through my battleground every day is the gym. I come from a few months ago. I was at rock bottom, and you were there. You saw me. I've come out of a very dark place, and you don't realize that you're at rock bottom until you sit there and try to figure out, who are you? Who exactly are you? My name is Cory Johnson. Your name is Lucas Johnson, but that's not actually who you are. So mindset's important, Lucas. And for example, I just got a haircut yesterday. I got a fresh, crispy fade, brother. But I really enjoy going to my barber shop. It's here in Arlington. It's right down underneath my apartment, down in Clarendon. It's a great spot. But just having a conversation with my barber, I strive every day to be the better version of myself than I was the day before. And you start to learn all these patterns. You hear all this stuff a lot with a lot of these motivational speakers, but you start to pick up the patterns of, okay, well, 5 people have mentioned that this has worked for them. Okay, well, maybe that will work for me. You got to have an open mind, baby. You can't just, you can't think
full send, baby, full send.
Full send it, baby. If you have that fixed mindset, if you have a fixed mindset, you're going to have problems. And I think that most of us aren't willing to get to know ourselves. We're so caught up in these distractions, and one being the news right now. Just kind of shut everything out, keep your circle close, and I've really just, life has been unfolding for me because I really set myself up for success. If I'm in a bad mindset, it's not going to work out for me. But to go back to that story with the barber, I came in, I was really happy. Great day, just because I'm in search for that feeling of, okay, what can I do for myself today that treat yourself, Jordan Peterson says, treat yourself as if you're someone who would actually want to work for you. So schedule the damn things out is exactly what he says. And that's a pattern. I realized that schedule. So I get to my appointment here, and it's just so, your energy, they thrive off of it. And I've been trying to get better with just listening. But he was asking a lot of questions because he was very intrigued about what I've been doing. And when you start walking around with this pride, because you took every step you could in the right direction, and that's all you are responsible for is your best. That's all you're responsible for. We're our worst critics, Luke.
We are.
Your energy drives conversations, man. Just like we're having right now. It's, I feel very in tune to this conversation.
I am as well, and I actually want to jump back to something you said earlier. It really hit. I mean, it almost brought a little tear in my eye because we've been through a lot over the years. We are only a few years apart. I mean, Tanner's right in the middle, but it wasn't until I came to your place in March when you were at rock bottom, but I was also, I think, at my ultimate rock bottom too. I was in a point where I didn't know where I was in my own life. I started a job that I liked, wasn't sure I loved. I started and lived in a new city, and I just came to DC to visit you for 2 days or 3 days, 2 nights, see you and a couple friends, and just seeing what that looked like. And it was something that you said, which is also one of the first episodes that Patty and I we recorded for Project Dream Mastery, is half the battle showing up. That's all it is. It's half the battle is just showing up. You put your shorts on, man. Once you have your shorts on, just show up to the gym. If you're at the gym, so you might as well just start working out. You're there. So when that happened, I was at my all-time peak at where I thought I needed to be. Was I going to keep eating those dumplings? Was I going to keep on eating those pizzas and stuff? I mean, I avoided all that stuff, but gluten-free pizzas and stuff like that, man. So I looked myself in the mirror and said, after that, came back, where do I want to be? I'm showing up. I need to realize that I need to show up for the right things. I need to show up for my faith, my family, my friends, but I also need to show up for myself. I want to lose weight. I want to love myself. I want to do all these things. And you're talking about you have to love yourself first. That's another thing that's stuck. And whether you realize it or not, the things you say have an impact on me. That's why I say, man, all my brothers are my role models because I learned something from every single day. And I realized in that moment that I didn't need a date. I needed to start loving myself. So you made me realize, okay, 6 months later, I am down to 194 pounds. I am at my all-time peak performance. I'm in a state of flow all the time. I feel good. I feel great. I show up to the things that matter, to events that matter. And it all sparked from you, man. So, what was it like for you?
It's you paid it forward because you sparked my jump too. That's what you need to do. You need to surround yourself by those high performance people, and you want to be around those people that tell you what you need to hear rather than what you'd rather hear. And you need to be that person for yourself too. But loving yourself is very important, and it just starts with taking time. Just slow your day down. You don't need to rush. And meditation is one of those things too. You need to be mindful of everything that you're doing. And you said, Lucas, that really stuck. Well, everything that we do matters. We're all a node within a network. So it's about living that meaningful life. And as I sit here today, I could honestly tell you that I have that. I had that feeling. I go to sleep and I can't wait to wake up and get after it, baby. But it took a lot of time, Lucas, to get there. I mean, how many months did it take for you?
I mean,
it took a few months.
Years, man.
Years.
I was 270 pounds. That's almost 100 pounds coming up, if I ever get down there. But years.
But it's preparing for battle. It's being on that war path, whatever that may be for you, because everyone's agenda in life is different. But what I think is success is having a better version than yourself. And let's say maybe I pick 3 things out of the day that would do good for me, that would benefit me and ultimately positively influence my day in the right direction. And maybe you have different categories. So it's categorizing your life, and take time for each. It's that balance of life. And it's hard to find, especially with all the distractions that we brought up earlier. That's especially now more than ever. But that's just an excuse that we tell ourselves right now, because really, when you're really working on yourself, I've noticed that all that stuff doesn't matter to you, and it's easier every day, and it just starts to fade away, that you don't really notice it because you're after that feeling.
Cory, you have been through quite a few instances over the year of dealing with people that aren't exactly in your corner. And one instance I can think of was back in high school. I was very young, and I remember this because you won. Whether it be on the crutches or the instance I'm thinking of, where you don't let people take over the situation. You don't let them win unless it's something that you need to walk away from. You've learned that over the years. So what has been in that particular situation? What have you learned from that, where someone is not exactly in your corner and they want to beat the shit out of you? They want everything that you have. They, what exactly has made you think about situations differently in that perspective?
Well, Luke, that was my first fight ever. And it was a fist fight in high school that I was getting picked on. And I think bullying is more predominant than ever now because of the virtual ecosystem that we thrive on. Right now, we're leveraging that, especially in the learning community as far as education platforms. But bullying is in every aspect of your life. Now, I am an open-minded person, but I wasn't once then. If I could go back and change that situation, I would not have fought that. I would not have gotten a fight and never resort things to violence. Life is a series of facts, and you can it's all decisions. So everything that you do matters, right? And it affected everyone in my node and my network. And mom was upset. Dad, I'm sure was, who knows? I don't know how dad was, but I know that how do I feel now about it? I don't feel good about. No, I probably would have not done that, but I wish him the best, and well, it made me a better person because now I'm better with dealing with people through hard circumstances, and that's kind of how life. You don't lose. You either win or you learn, and that's part of having that. The You look through perspective, perspective where you see different differences in what actually is a failure. So one failure that I really let bother me for many years was joining the Navy and never making it through the Navy SEAL program that I joined and prepared many months prior. I never made that, and I let it really bother me. But once I finally accepted that and used it for fuel to motivate me, and you start to see a vision. And this vision for me is I want to do that Batwater race, which is a 19-hour race. I know I could do it. I have to prepare for it, but that's something that David Goggins did. It was I think 100 and something mile race. It's one of the hardest foot races ever. But to me, if I accomplish that, I get a little closer to the finish line. But that's the thing, guys, because you're after a feeling. There is no finish line. It's about living your full potential. And that's like I said, things get a little clearer. So I start working out a lot. I'm preparing for this. Well, guess what? Next thing you know, I'm starting to do fundraisers. And I'm supporting the values from the organization I work for. They're sponsoring me now. And you show up to life and you set up all these decisions you make in the right direction. This life is a series of facts, and you keep surrounding yourself with these high performance people. I took an IQ test the other day, Luke. I was just curious, right? Guess where I scored? I actually paid. I don't know how legit it was. It showed up as a 90. Man, you have any idea how disappointed I was to see myself as a 90? I'm like, man, I got to start reading books. Get your baseline, figure out who you are. I realized I don't know really what goes into that IQ test, but I'm going to start reading a lot. So that's what I've been doing too, and work for, you set your life up as if you were as for someone that you would work for, right? So I know that reading a book would be difficult for me. So what's realistic for me? I listen to audiobooks, right? And I know that I will get a book done if I listen to audiobooks. It's setting yourself up for success, finding those answers and visualize. So a lot of what you've been doing, Luke, which you may not realize this now, but the way I assess my day, my week, my year, I don't do it until I could see it. So I think about my day, I watch myself doing it, and then I whatever feeling that I'm getting, I feel what I'm going to get out of it, me accomplishing it. Like that Batwater race, I could see myself crossing the finish line now, and the feeling that will arise from that, because it's going to be years of hard work before I get there. And there's always going to be someone better. Just be the best version of yourself. And that's all I've been doing. I've been trying to do that the best I can. And it looks like you have too, Luke.
Hey man, like you said, you either win or learn. And if you're listening right now, that's a critical takeaway. You are going to either win and learn. There's no losing component there. You're always learning something from that. That's a Gary Vaynerchuk thing right there. I was actually listening to something from him earlier, and you never lose. You always have a takeaway. And if you think you're losing, you're already in the wrong direction, my friend. So, Cory.
Well, you also, Luke, you got to take responsibility for every aspect in your life.
You're accountable. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't take accountability for your shit, man, who's going to own it? It's your shit. You own everything. if you keep that perspective, you're always going to perform at your peak because you know it's your ass on the line. Simple, right? So Cory,
if you're gonna be late somewhere, text someone, say, hey, I'm late. I actually showed up I missed my flight, and I told them at the desk, I said, hey guys, I missed my flight. I should have left earlier. They said, wow, you're the first person ever to actually admit that you missed your flight. It's always our fault. But that's the thing. A lot of people don't see it that way, Lucas. And it's sad because all it is just putting a new set of glasses on, looking through life through a different lens. And it's just being open-minded to just realize that maybe trying a new thing might help you. And these things that, go do your own research, but really you start to see these patterns like, hey, this nutrition has really been adding up. Like maybe I should change my nutrition or just, or get meal preps. Like that's been great for me. I know that I have to eat 2 a day. They're great. And they're the calories I need. And my mind's going to be running efficiently. And then you realize, hey, okay, like my vision got a little clearer. That I took out bad food, no processed food. Well, let me start taking vitamins. And then you start dialing these in. And then before you know it, you start feeling great every day. And then
every day, baby, every day.
Full send. Full send,
baby.
I realized the other day, like, I've been practicing and rehearsing this routine so hard that it takes me a little bit to get in this flow state. But the other day, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of falling off my routine. Hey, regardless, I've been doing this so much, the flow state came. And I showed up. I kept showed up, and now this is starting to become a daily thing that I honestly love because it's great to show up and play. Work hard, play hard, full send, baby.
So we have this perspective in play right there, which is critical to what we focus on at Project Dream Mastery. Is every single one of us has a different perspective. It's unique and it's dependent on the situation and the environment that's at play. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but ultimately you have to set your perspective to be kind of neutral. You have to always understand and evolve from that situation. Because most of the time, if you go in and you're already critical of the person or you're critical of the scene, you already have that bias. And one thing that I've learned from you and from constantly going through Project Dream Mastery and other elements of building our business, Coachington, was if you look at things with a negative mindset, your life is going to be negative. That perspective is already in play. But if you start taking that positive approach, that marketing campaign I did is going to be very successful. I got one sale. I got one affiliate sale.
Killing it, baby. That's a success.
Yes, baby. Yeah. $20. Okay. So we actually did our first, and it's never been about money here. So it was really, I was sitting there and I get this email and Patryk is, he's messaging me and he goes, man, did our show get our first affiliate sale? I go, hell yeah, we did, man. That's a full win right there. All right. Not that we were banking on that. And then when the show skyrocketed and we're seeing these numbers grow, I go, Patty, you remember when we set that bar? It's not if, it's when. When we help one person, if we can inspire one person, if we can bring people on, just one person onto the show and change their life and shape their future. And hell, I mean, there's a lot of factors that went into play for developing Coachington and then building off that to build Project Dream Mastery. But even people that are going through that bullying and, thinking about harming themselves, if we could change one person's life right there, save someone's life right there, that's a win, man. That's perspective and play right there. And that's a full send. I mean, that's what we get on here and we laugh and we chuckle. But if you could look at your friend and you're listening and you just think about the small victories and say, that's a full send, baby. That's a full send.
Full send.
That's a good day. That's a good day. So Cory, building off of that, you have an incredible background professionally. Your skill set's very unique. But for today, I really want to focus on your journey of personal development, your personal growth, because as you said, you've been through different situations that have helped you build a perspective that is now in action in your current state. How do you plan on evolving your current state further to build a better future state? Whether that be in 20 years, whether that be tomorrow. What's that outlook? What's that look like?
Man, Lucas, first, can I just say that your voice is it just sounds like smooth jazz. Lucas, to answer your question, well, first let me give the your followers a little background about my career path. I joined the military. I joined to, like The Rock says, sometimes the one thing that you want most to happen is sometimes the best thing that's never happened to you, and that's definitely that's exactly what happened there. And I leading up to that, to joining the military, Lucas, actually I joined because of the 9/11 thing. I wasn't really doing well in school because it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to play sports in college. I got injuries, and I was still an athlete. So and I was ready to accept failure. But what's the worst that could happen? You try and you don't make it. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And really, when I was joining, well, before when I was preparing to join, I worked at LA Fitness. I did sales for personal training, and I worked out all day. So I took a step in the right direction.
Look at this good-looking guy. You see how fit he is? He was just like that back then too. Hype him up. We talked about it in the last episode. Hype him up, man.
No. I'm just getting started, guys. But I'm looking forward to the progress I'll make in the upcoming months, because I've only been on this kick, really the feeling of really gathering that feeling, understanding it. I've been on this for about 2 months. It's taken me 6 months of consistent work just doing that. So I'm a STEM educator. Essentially I found my platform, and I realized that this is how I could talk to billions of people. So I'm writing course curriculum that's published out to it's eventually going to touch billions of people, because in somehow, way or another, what I'm doing is meaningful, and I'm looking through that perspective. So you really take pride in what you're doing, and people start to notice that. Also, the frequency that you're putting off, and the values that you're building, those foundations, maybe reprogramming your mind and the way you think. But it's really, people pick up on that, and it's a lot that says about you. I've really noticed that.
You talk about billions, millions of people that you can influence. How would you like to leave your mark on this world? For me, I had that one goal to inspire one person, and then transition that to 10 people, and then 100 and 1,000 and 1,000,000 and so forth. That's my mission. We have two. We have our personal, and then we have one for a world. As one of our guests joined us, Brendan from Master Talk, was talking about. You have two missions. One is your own, and one is for the world. And for him, it was clean water. That was his one for the world, and one for him was helping one person communicate more effectively. So for you, what does that look like?
Well, I think, Lucas, I'd like this to launch our own record label, bro. I think you and I could really kill it in that. We have all the tools that we need, and it's weird how life adds up. That day that you sent me that video with it had Denzel Washington. It talked about dream big and big ideas. Well, I just had an idea that day. I ran that ultra marathon. I did that 13 miles or something, but I was in a really, really nice flow state, and I came up with this brilliant business plan. But I think that we should all talk as brothers here soon about possible launching of that, because we would have a blast. And it's really it's about having fun. It's about sharing with others that there's an equation that you could figure it out, and that you can control your destiny. You can write the chapters in your book, and regardless or not, the sun's gonna rise, it's gonna set. Enjoy your day. Enjoy it, because man, if you have so many days of not having a good mindset and just being down, it's so easy to just say, hey, I just want to sit here, be present in the moment, and enjoy what's happening. I'm okay with it. Take it in, let it go. And that's meditation's really helped me with that, Lucas. But I feel that it's a conscious decision that we make every day. You could have a good day or a bad day, and you can't change the way people feel or think about things. But what you can do is try to understand them. Try to understand and put the ego aside. Nothing's personal. Business is business as usual. So just live life to your best. And all you're responsible for, Luke, is your best. And what do I want in life? To answer your question, how am I going to leave my impact? I'm going to put a new meaning, a new definition to what it means to not have a finish line. I don't know how many people I'm going to impact. The potential's there. I just have to untap it. And all it takes is just removing one day at a time. Just taking those things that really just, we know that aren't good for us, that we know we probably shouldn't be doing. And going back and finding the answers. Think about it, see it. Understand that if I do this, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel proud about myself. When you live this life of negativity and then you take the conscious effort to employ these almost notional emotions for the time being, over time, it equalizes the chemistry in your mind. And then when you start living these days where you're actually really enjoying it, that feeling of that tingling feeling, the emotions just feel good. And it starts with discipline, self-discipline, and your confidence also is going to skyrocket when you start living by these values that we all have the ability. So another thing I'd like to bring up is if you have the ability, why should you need to learn? What are your thoughts on that, Lucas? If you have the ability, why should we need to learn?
You can continue to build upon that ability. Your ability is never perfect. It's never going to be, it's a craft. It's something it's almost like a living document, as we say in the business world, is you're looking at something that's constantly evolving. It's constantly going to need changes and updates. There's things that are going to have to go into that to make it more efficient. So yeah, that's my answer, is you can constantly put more into something. It doesn't matter if you think you have the best ability in the world. Everyone has time and it has the ability to improve that ability. So
but Lucas, when you get in that flow state, your awareness is so heightened. Your decisions are flawless. You just see this flow through your day. You're like, wow, I just set that up, and this is just moving along nicely because I saw myself in the next phase. But then I realized that, okay, well, I see myself there. Well, I know I need to get there, right? So I can start seeing myself at the next phase, right? And you have these projected goals. Life without goals. We need goals, baby, to get that full send.
Full send, baby. One of the things that we talked about with Patty on the last episode is habits without vision. And that's based on the new book by James Clear, Atomic Habits. And basically it's setting up micro goals. Actionable micro goals. And if you're able to build upon each of those steps, I like to call them steps because honestly, you're taking that step to get that broader goal. It's that simple. If we make actionable steps, it's easy to achieve a goal. When you set a broad, very vast goal, so I don't even have one off the top of my head, but for instance, it's to get this podcast to 1 million subscribers. I'll just say that. What am I going to do to get it to 1 million subscribers? Those micro goals. So, Cory, over the years, it's been interesting to see how people have infested or infected our lives with their opinions, their expectations, their outlooks. And I say infested because people want you to align with their beliefs. They want you to agree with their opinion. What have you done to make sure that your flow is not interrupted by those, I'm just going to, for this instance, say haters or those that have other opinions?
To Lucas, the best solution to that for me is to put myself in an atmosphere where I can associate positive feelings, where I've been before and I feel comfortable. You need coping resources, and I have several that I need specifically tailored for me that I know at this certain time I need to do this, or I need my threshold for space is this, and so I remove myself from any situations or environments that I feel would be toxic and wouldn't set me up for success. And it's making those decisions. When you make up your mind, go. I don't go back and change my mind. When I pick out an outfit in the morning, I put it on. I make that decision. Okay, next time I should have made a better decision. And it's all about how do you use those 24 hours in a day. So I make these decisions, and then then vision gets a little clearer, right? So, okay, well, maybe I should set up my clothes the night before because, well, I'll have a better time to and then you're prepared for the day. It's all about callousing that mind and just really, showing up and giving it your best. And you can't do that when you're not getting good sleep, your circadian rhythm's off, you're not exercising, you're not taking care of yourself, and you don't establish a good foundation to balance in your life. And my balance might be different from what you need for your balance. So it's all about finding out who you are and figuring out what is that equation to balance for you. And if you don't take the time to do that, you'll never know. And it's I remember being that guy. I remember a time where I would pace around the house and I'm like, well, I can't really think clearly. And I'm anxious. Well, because you're not visualizing anything, you're not eating well, you didn't get good sleep, you're drinking monsters, you're eating a bunch of processed food. Now, I realize after educating myself over time that, that wasn't the best environment to set myself up or ecosystem for myself to where I function well. But now I'm still improving and I'm dialing this in where, man, my body is more efficient than ever. I'll tell you, I have one kidney. I found this out when I was 30 and I didn't know my whole life until I had this MRI done. I get this thing done. It was I was rear-ended. I get this MRI done and they're like, well, I regret to inform you that you do not have a kidney. And I was pretty worried because I've been all over Southeast Asia. I was a military guy. Who knows? I could have got crazy and lost it. I don't know. But really, it should have developed. But my kidney function was at like a 1.9, my creatinine levels. And that was before I got on this fitness and health and mindfulness journey. I just had my levels done. They're now a 1.2, and they're running more efficiently than someone with 2 kidneys, and I have 1. But so anything's impossible, right? Anything's possible. We get to accomplish the achievable. We can accomplish anything we put our mind to. You can see it, you can hold it, you can have it. So you just have to be resourceful. It's up to you. That's the decision that you need to make every day. The answers are out there, guys. Go figure it out. Life's a big problem. It's a big puzzle. We don't know it. We surely can't predict it. But what we can do, we can set ourselves up the best we can every day to attack it and do more for others than you do for yourself. I've noticed that once I started doing for others, and every day I make it a point to do something for one person. I make sure I do that. And whatever it may be, that's one of my things during my routine. And now I'm doing this at a rate where things are just unfolding at an exponential rate. And I feel like I'm building that empire. an empire could be anything. It could be your friends. It could be your circle. It could be whatever your mind can think of. And you just have to have value in it, and you need to be prideful of who you are. And don't be ashamed, because we're all great people, every one of you. And we all have a special gift. You just have to figure out what it is, right, Luke?
You're right, man. Hey, you know, we had all these people coming together and haven't seen them in a while. And it was really interesting that this podcast, which was really hard for us to really get out there, and the reason for it, I'm just going to build upon that, is it's being ashamed, not necessarily being ashamed, but being scared. Fearing what people think about you is typically a downfall for a lot of us, a great deal of us. We fear what people think about us. And there's been many times where I look to my closest people, my tribe, you know, you, my family, my friends, my closest peers, my closest advisors, to hear what their thoughts are. Patty and I were really sitting there, and we started recording episodes in May, June. We didn't release them until July. And the reason for that was because we were scared of the comments, the dislikes. We were scared of what people would think about us. And just 2 weeks ago, we had folks come together, my friends, family, all these people come together, and they're asking about this podcast to start it, Project Dream Mastery. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, wow, you know, a year ago, I had this vision with Patty, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and so forth, to make something like this and get it out there. And one person comes up to me and asks, and then another, and then another, and then another. And I think back to my closest people in my circle that gave me the courage and gave me the truths that I needed to say, love yourself, pursue the future, forgive and forget people that don't matter. You know?
But also, I'd like to add on to that, Lucas. Remember that in life, you seek validation for no one. Live to your values, and life will be real easy for you, because, well, everything else, that's just there. And you can influence that. And you will, once you have that frequency and that energy that you put into your self-development, and you as a person, is going to really show everyone what you've become. And you're going to inspire them just by being who you are. And you don't even have to try. It's just by living those true good values, being the hero in your own movie. For example, right, Lucas, going out, taking your dog. I live in Arlington. I have to say, Axel goes, he does the poo, you know, and it's the city. So if you're that guy that, you know, doesn't pick up the poo, they will talk about you. One, the Arlington Snoodle Squad will definitely discuss this over brunch. And secondly, you're not a good person. It's like putting your shopping cart away. You do these little things and you're like, okay, I did the right thing. I knew I did the right thing. You feel good about yourself because you're a good person. It's picking up the poo, baby. Full send.
Full send, baby. Full send. And that's the etiquette we need to have in our own personal life too. You know, seek only approval from yourself and then from your closest tribe.
And then also go back and see if there's a connection to that feeling where, okay, I feel good about this. You know, when I joined the Navy, the first time I didn't go. I didn't feel good about it. You go with your gut. If it goes with your values and you feel it, that's how you make decisions. And sometimes if it might not be the right one, but you don't lose, you either win or learn, right? So that's the way you need to tackle your day. And you slow it down. Just chill out, relax, enjoy your day. It's okay. Don't let things bother you. It's really okay.
Your state of flow is going to be messed up if you do. So take that break to really understand what you want. And Cory, a lot of the takeaways I have from today is, who do you really want to be? Who are you? Who you really are? You're not just defined by your name. You know, I'm Lucas Johnson. You're Cory Johnson. I'm not just that name. I am so much more, and so are you. Go define who you want to be. Follow those dreams, defy the damn expectations that people have on you, and don't settle. Don't settle for something that doesn't make you happy. If you're sick of that 9-to-5 job, screw it. Go ahead. Go find yourself something that makes you happy on the daily basis, because we only have so much. We only have so much time on this world, right? As Gary Vaynerchuk says, or as Travis Bell says, people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. Man, I want to live my entire life on my terms and be happy. And so do you, Cory. So does every single person I surround myself in my tribe. That's how we want to live. We want to be happy doing what we're doing.
It all starts with a choice. You make the decision. You just have to you have to be okay with it, with your mind. And another thing, Lucas, I kind of take from my running extravaganza. Running has changed my life, fitness and running. But the thing I've taken away from that is because I'll run I've been doing these. I'm training for an ultra marathon. I run right now. I'm dialing the training in, but the off days come when life comes. So I show up every day. I get on the elliptical. Where my body feels good, but I make it okay that I know in my mind, I'm okay with doing this for 2.5 hours. I know I'm going to show up and do that. And I set it up to how I would work for myself if I were to work for myself. So it's so much easier when you're just okay with it and you come up to terms. Hey, I know I'm going to do this, and you visualize this. And you execute, just like this podcast. I don't like talking in front of people. and funny enough said, I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. So I do it every day. You got to keep those things that make you uncomfortable is what really, really make you thrive and give you that momentum in life, because you're like, wow, when I feel like I don't want to do something, I go do it now, because I'm like, even playing video games, I play that Warzone sometimes, and it's all about that mindset. I could use the guns I'm comfortable with, but why not use a pistol or the knives? I've been trying to throw knives at people because it's the hardest thing ever. I'm literally, but I made a path that's my own war path. I wanted to do the hard way. So I'll play so many games with that. It's just the same with life. For example, if I were to go take a GMAT test, right? Am I going to just go take it? Or what would I do to solve that problem? Would I go to a class? Would I pay for it? Would I read a bunch of books on it? Those all seem like they'd probably be the right decision to make and would lead me in the right direction towards an MBA if I chose that would benefit me and wanted to do that in my life. We all have those things in our minds that we get these light bulbs all the time. Is that good or bad? Should I make that choice? Mindfulness. Think about what you're doing. See it. Slow your day down. Enjoy it. Live life. It's great, baby. Full send.
Full send, baby. Full send.
Hold on.
I think that's probably a great spot to wrap up. But I also want to say that Patty really wanted to be here, but unfortunately, I did not place it on his schedule. I own that.
Patty,
it's the time zones, man. It's really tough, especially recording this on a Sunday. We both have full-time jobs. Cory, you got a full-time job. So, it's that alignment, it sometimes fails, but I own that. I'm accountable for that. And that's a takeaway. We have to be responsible for those things in our lives that even though we don't want to be responsible, could have scheduled earlier, could have scheduled next week. It was because I wanted to get this out there to the world, because Cory, so much value added. I know you're my brother, but if you weren't my brother, I'd say the same thing, man. Love you. And
thank you, Lucas.
There's so much great content here. So I will say this, Cory. You know what? Actually, I'm going to pass it to you to give 3 points that you want to pass off before we wrap up today. 3 things that would help them go forward.
Okay, number one, I have to say, start doing the things that it's kind of like life's on the razor, the razor's edge of life, those things that give you that rush, get yourself out of that comfort zone. And I think that once you start just working on yourself and finding out who you are, I think that there's a hidden potential in all of us that, man, you might really be impressed with what you find. Another key thing is routine. I think that scheduling a routine and living by a calendar is probably the most important thing. And when you start doing these things over and over again, it just, becomes part of your day, becomes a lifestyle, and a good lifestyle is also going to put you in a good state of mind. So that's the third thing. Mindset. Have a growth mindset. If you don't, identify that and try to find ways to reprogram your paradigm to have a growth mindset and really untap that full potential of yours, because at the end of the day, we're all going to die. Like we all have time. That's one thing we all share in common. So what are you going to do with your time? And what is your gift? And how are you going to make it meaningful? Thank you. Thank you, Dream Mastery followers. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to doing this again someday.
Oh man!
Hopefully I could come back on the show, and it's if Lucas doesn't excommunicate me from the family after this. But.
Hey man, that would never happen. Family first, bro. Family first. But with that, always. I'm going to pass along a few there's a bug here. A few assignments for you this week, as we do every week. I'm going to give you some homework. First off, go follow Project Dream Mastery on all of our socials. As on Thanksgiving Day 2020, we will be giving away some pretty sweet merch to a few of our followers, maybe more than that. So check it out. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, as they say on all the YouTube videos out there in the world. And I want to give you a few actions. And Cory, you provoked these, so I'm going to get rid of some of the other stuff that I originally had planned. Go out, actually, sit down, put your phone on Do Not Disturb or turn it off. Get a notepad and write down your thoughts. Write down what's on your mind. Get it off your chest. Because when you write things down, it's more efficient. You kind of eliminate that from your brain because it's now on paper. Take that 5, 10, 15 minutes, an hour. Think about what you want. Visualize where you see your future. And think about how you can make that a reality. That's your homework for this week.
I have one thing to add to that, Lucas. When do you feel smart? When you're flawless or when you're learning? Go learn. Learn yourself. Thank you.
Perfect, Cory. All right, so we just launched our Patreon membership community where you can become one of our elite supporters and gain exclusive access to early releases, live streams, and Q&A. We have a few different tiers available with some pretty sweet perks, so make sure to check them out and consider supporting the show. Go to projectdreammastery.com and click the red button that says Become a Patron to learn more. As we reach our monthly goals, we will have some pretty sweet giveaways. If you have not already, please make sure to review the show, subscribe, like, and share so that we can reach more amazing listeners like you. All of our shows are available in both audio, video, and written form, so make sure to check out our website to access the full experience. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode to come. Thank you so much for joining us, Cory. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Take care.